Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are completely demystifying how artificial intelligence is transforming medical research methodologies from the ground up. If you've been doing research the traditional way, manually sifting through thousands of papers or spending weeks coding qualitative data, well, you're about to discover a totally new world. We are pulling directly from the insights of Professor Dr. 𝐬𝐿 to give you a highly practical, step-by-step look at how you can integrate these incredibly powerful tools into your workflow right now. Okay, let's jump straight into this massive number. AI can actually make your literature screening up to 10 times faster. I mean, just imagine taking a process that usually eats up weeks of your research timeline and compressing that down to mere hours. That is the exact kind of scale we're talking about here.
And honestly, it gets even better. It can lead to a 60% reduction in data extraction time, processing massive datasets almost instantly. It strips out those pesky human calculation errors and spots hidden trends in big data that we probably would have missed entirely. It's a completely new paradigm for research efficiency.
So here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with the AI research revolution, walk step by step through literature review, data analysis, and manuscript drafting, and then tackle the very real dangers of algorithmic bias and the mandatory IRB ethical rules you absolutely must follow. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI research revolution, and how we are simulating human intelligence to make decisions.
Right now, there are 4 main branches completely reshaping medicine. We've got machine learning, which learns from data without being explicitly programmed. Then there's deep learning, which uses neural networks that actually mimic the human brain. We also have natural language processing, or NLP, which reads and generates human language, pulling data straight from clinical notes. And finally, computer vision, which interprets medical visuals like MRIs or X-rays with radiologist-level accuracy.
So the real magic happens in how we apply those branches, and that brings us to our overarching workflow map for your next research paper. These 3 steps are the core pillars of any medical research project, and AI has perfectly tailored applications for every single one of them. Moving right along to Section 2, Step 1, Literature Review, where you're scanning thousands of papers.
This used to be the absolute most grueling part of any project, right? But there are specific tools you can use today to automate systematic screening and shrink weeks of work into hours. For example, Elicit does an AI-powered systematic literature search that pulls up exactly what you need. ResearchRabbit is fantastic for finding related papers and building these really cool visual citation maps so you don't miss foundational studies. And then Rayyan AI steps in to help you rapidly shortlist those papers and extract data tables automatically.
Once you've got your data, we hit Section 3, Step 2, Data Analysis, focusing heavily on pattern recognition. This is where AI's capabilities truly shine, finding hidden trends at a population scale that would be nearly impossible to do manually. By pairing your workflow with AI-assisted SPSS for statistics or NVivo for qualitative thematic coding, you can achieve just unprecedented analytical scale. If you're doing qualitative research, NVivo AI can jump in and assist with thematic coding, saving you from endless hours of highlighting text. For complex dataset pattern recognition, Python AI libraries are incredibly powerful. The whole goal here is decision support, letting the AI handle the heavy lifting of calculation so you can focus your human expertise on interpreting what it all actually means. Finally, we reach Section 4, Step 3, Manuscript Drafting, which is all about writing and structuring your findings. Translating all that hard work into a structured manuscript can be a massive hurdle, but AI acts as an incredible co-pilot here. Tools like ChatGPT or Claude can help refine your research objective, brainstorm ideas, and summarize complex papers into really digestible sections. Meanwhile, tools like PaperPal and Grammarly make sure your academic tone is absolutely perfect. But, and this is a massive word of caution, remember that ChatGPT can hallucinate facts. It can literally invent fake studies out of thin air. So you must always verify your citations. Okay, we've built up a lot of excitement about these tools, but now we have to hit a critical speed bump in Section 5, the danger of algorithmic bias, also known as the black box problem. It really just comes down to this fundamental truth. AI is only as good as its training data. If the data is flawed, the output is useless, or honestly, it's dangerous. Garbage in, garbage out is a rule you just have to memorize. This is a huge risk, especially for low and middle income countries, or LMICs. Historically, high-income countries totally dominate AI research, and that leads to a severe underrepresentation of South Asian and African populations in the training datasets. It's a serious issue because if we don't critically appraise these AI outputs, we could inadvertently widen existing health disparities. Think about it. If an AI tool was only ever trained on one demographic, it might completely misdiagnose or misunderstand another. To fight this black box, where AI can't even explain its own decisions, we desperately need explainable AI, or XAI. This is an active, growing field entirely dedicated to making sure AI processes can be tracked by humans. Because when you submit your research, peer reviewers are going to ask you, hey, was AI used, and exactly how? Explainable AI ensures you can tell those reviewers precisely how a conclusion was reached.
And that brings us right to Section 6, Mandatory IRB Ethical Rules, covering responsibility and governance.
Because AI is evolving so incredibly fast, there are global regulatory gaps, which means it is entirely on you and your institution to maintain ethical integrity. Treat this as your accountability checklist. First, AI's use must be declared in your methodology section. That's standard now. Second, you absolutely must anonymize highly sensitive patient data. Third, ensure fairness by actively seeking diverse data. Fourth, remember that you, the human researcher, own the ultimate responsibility for those outputs. And finally, you have to obtain explicit IRB approval for AI use on any patient data. AI does not replace ethical review. It demands way more rigorous oversight.
To be crystal clear here, AI tools are fantastic, allowed supplements for students and professionals, but they are absolutely not shortcuts that replace human judgment. Artificial intelligence is exactly what it sounds like, an assistant that supports you with speed and scale. It is not complete automation. You can never substitute ethical review, and you can certainly never substitute your own critical thinking.
And this beautifully summarizes the ultimate takeaway from Professor Dr. 𝐬𝐿. AI is here to elevate your capabilities, not take your job. When you apply it correctly, addressing those biases, and sticking to strict ethical standards, it simply makes you a more effective, scalable, and impactful researcher.
So, armed with this new workflow and these firm ethical boundaries, the only question left is how you're going to put this into practice. Will you start by speeding up your literature review of Elicit, or maybe you'll streamline your coding with NVivo? Whatever you choose, remember to declare it, double-check your citations, and always keep human judgment right at the center of your work. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see the incredible research you produce.